just towards the plowshares, I really don't think Steven has much of a chance.
It's going to be tough, but he's had a nice tournament so far. And it may not end here, but Death and Taxes. Yeah, we're not even, sneak attack and show and tell players that he's played against, all that good stuff. And again, we have not, I don't think we covered Brad playing show and tell.
Yes,
That's it.
pretty light on the top tables. When we got periodic updates from our coverage runner throughout the course of the day, it looked like there was a lot of Esper Blade or Blade variations
Yeah.
near the top tables, and quite a bit of Blade in our top 8 as well, but no sneak and show. And legacy meta games are these weird localized things. I think it's a combination of, you have people who are drivers in the community advocating their deck, and the fact that the decks are so expensive to build that people can't just adjust what they're playing on the fly, leads the metagames to be very localized. And the West Coast, Southern California in particular, where I'm from, feels like a much more combo-heavy metagame than when I played in legacy events on the East Coast. And we have one such combo deck here from one of our SoCal legacy players.
Well, we're going to see it in action. We're going to see, apparently, as I was on break when Harduvel did play, a nice-looking L's deck.
Yeah, a lot of foils. John rocking the MTG Deals hoodie. I'll tell you, if you are a Los Angeles, Orange County, whatever area Magic player you like playing Legacy, you should go to that shop. It's a really good scene, a nice store, well worth your time to check out.
Oh, we are on the West Coast. I know next. Hopefully
Well,
next
we're
time.
nowhere near MTG Deals.
I know that. Los Angeles is far away.
7 hours away or whatever, but
But he came to play.
yes.
Long drive. Came to battle. Respect it. So let's see how the opening hands look here. Again, players have access to each other's deck lists, so Steven knows that he is up against a tough one here.
Yes. And John can be, I think, pretty liberal about mulliganing marginal hands, since Steven doesn't play a ton of removal, not a lot of thought seizes type of cards going on here, so he can be aggressive searching for a quality hand. And I believe he says that he'll keep.
All right, we are underway here. Going to start with a Green's Sun Zenith.
And this will be finding a Dryad Arbor, of which there are one in the deck.
And that's a foil one, unsurprisingly.
Naturally.
I like that he uses that one and not the new Bush League one that looks
Yeah,
like a forest.
That one came out of a booster pack somewhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't in some pre-made box set. Someone opened that in the pack. It's authentic.
Planes to begin, and Aether Vial. So a good start here for Bush.
Yep.
John takes a draw step here. Guy's cradles the draw.
The problem, of course, is that that vial might be on one when John is killed.
Here's a Heritage Druid. 2 mana. There's a Wirewood.
Does he have the Viridian Shaman in his
Yeah,
hand?
he does.
Come on, man.
Yeah. It's already a pretty good matchup.
Come on,
Leave
man.
him alone. Gonna get in there.
Dude, it's a friendly game.
Counter goes on to the Aether Vial. Don't know how long it's going to be hanging around there.
You see Caracas and a variety of planes in Steven's hand.
Yeah.
And Stoneforge Mystic. So pretty good opening here. I mean, he's going to be able to get equipment, but that Symbiote and that Shaman will put a crimp on any sort of equipment or artifact plans that Steven has cooked up here.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's really not hard for them to find the main deck for Shaman. There's enough tutor effects in the Elves deck to be able to make that a reality to consistently have it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it's unreasonable for him to find it at some point. I'm just saying.
Already?
On top of everything else.
On top of how already difficult it is, I'm going to start pulling your artifacts right now. As Deathrite Shaman is a card drawn here for John. I think he has 2 more Cradles in his hand. Yeah. His hand's a little bit weird.
Yeah, he's missing. He's definitely missing some sort of engine, some driver. An Elvish Visionary would suffice. Natural Order, or Green Sun Zenith would all be great, of course.
Yeah, Elvish Visionary lets him go from 0 to 60. Be absolutely bonkers. Just pass the turn back on Stoneforge Mystic, and obviously the GT is primed and ready to be targeted. And Wirewood Symbiote will make sure there will be no connection.
and the uh, and because of the new legend rule with Guy's Cradle, even just naturally drawing the Greater Hoof Behemoth will also be excellent here.
Yeah, that would be a ton of damage. I can't even add it.
Yeah, I cannot. I would run out of fingers and toes.
Yeah,
So I can't tell you how much it actually would be, but it's a lot.
So there are a lot of live draws here for John. The thing that actually blew me away was I don't know how much those cradles are worth.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's not zero.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Those. I don't think of all the times I've covered those, I haven't seen anyone have those before.
Yeah, I don't remember. I believe those were a JSS promo from way
I
back in the day.
think so. Yeah. I think I remember. I think I remember like getting one of those and trading it for a tectonic break. I don't know who got the better end of that.
And there's Green Sun Zenith.
Yikes! I think one. Yeah, so he casts Heritage Druid.
I think this is just lethal, right?
Yeah, he plays this, and then he does this. He's got 10.
He's using Zenith for
Yeah,
Greater Hoof
Greater
Behemoth.
Behemoth, and the whole shebang. Heritage Druid can't attack, but everything else can.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 36 plus 38, 39, 41. I think Steven might be dead twice.
Oh, that's it? Okay. Greater Behemoth, a whole bunch of damage, and this one is over.
If damage carried over to the next game, Steven might have just lost 2 games to 0.
So Stephen Bush down a game here as we're going to bring it back to the booth in what's a very difficult matchup for him. So we are going to very quickly do our premium giveaway. You're ready this time, right?
I am ready.
Nicely
I'm
done.
absolutely ready.
Yes, 6-month giveaway, and of course, our Twitch t-shirt. If you're just joining the broadcast, you haven't seen these yet. Get your Twitters ready. Hashtag your answer with the hashtag SCG Premium. This guy's going to ask you a question. You'll hashtag again with SCG Premium. We'll announce them at the conclusion of our semifinal round. So, Patrick.
So over the course of the tournament, we've been talking a lot about the evolution of the Elf deck over the last couple of years. And we've seen lists periodically that have had a dedicated kill card in it, whether it's an Emrakul, a Mirror Entity, a Progenitus as a natural tutor target, and so forth. The new, more streamlined build of Elves plays exactly 1 Thaddy to finish off the game.
Yep.
You saw it appear in that first game for 6 months of Star City Games Premium. What is that large green creature?
I guess you get this too.
You get a t-shirt as well. Tweet at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium, and a winner will be drawn at random for a half-year premium and this sweet t-shirt. Not literally this one because Cedric's been blowing his nose and I guess if you actually wanted that one, that's fine. We can make
If you
that
want
happen.
germs and cooties,
But
you can have it.
We'll actually send you a new one. We
Okay.
have plenty, so don't worry.
Promise.
You're not imposing.
I'm giving. I am. Tanuki. Okay, so we'll take a look at this. Stephen Bush, it's tough.
Well, we talked about this a little bit. Having 2 copies of Aethersworn Canonist and 2 copies of Enlightened Tutor are a big deal here.
That's the start.
That's a start.
Now, the rest of the stuff, what do we like here? Sunlance is going to come in because it's a 1-mana removal spell.
Yep.
So that's definitely going to come in. Celestial Flare, it's not going to get the job done. Rest in Peace, no, sir. Manriku Gasari, absolutely not. Serenity, Meekstone, no and no. Cataclysm, I'm pretty sure no.
I suspect Cataclysm is for control matchups.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely for control matchups. With interaction with their sacrifice their planeswalkers, they just lose a bunch of stuff. But if you play against combo elves, and you make it so they lose one, so they have to have 1 creature and 1 land. Like, I'm not saying this is the best way to go about things, but when you're in a spot like Stephen Bush is in, where the matchup is very, very hard, I get creative.
No, I think there's definitely some legitimacy to that. I think the biggest problem is Cataclysm's 4 mana and Steven just died on the 3rd turn.
Yeah.
I can definitely imagine situations where Cataclysm is good. I wouldn't even be surprised if it got brought in, but 4 mana just seems like a huge cost here.
And then the last card, of course, is Oblivion Ring, which is just a 3-mana removal spell, which Elves just doesn't really care about. So he doesn't have a lot of great options. Aethersworn Canonist is a very good one. Unfortunately for Steven, it's an artifact that can be answered via Viridian Shaman, which we saw last game.
Now, Curse Totem strips away the activated powers of creatures, right? There's a lot of activated powers going on in the Elf deck.
Definitely.
Curse Totem, and again, remember he's bringing in 2 Enlightened Tutors to glue this all together. Curse Totem I would also expect to come in and could be very valuable here.
John's side?
He has a Progenitus if he wants a way to just win kind of on the spot with Natural Order. He has 3 copies of Abrupt Decay. I believe that, I would assume that comes in against most always Jite matchups. He has another Natural Order, some discard spells, a bunch of anti-combo stuff in the sideboard, basically. But I do think that the Abrupt Decays are going to be coming in. possibly the Progenitus as well. Although I think Progenitus is probably more for matchups where there's a lot of removal and you're just trying to land the Progenitus. Steven doesn't have a ton of it, so your Crater Hoof Behemoth plan is probably good against him, and then you don't have to incur the risk of drawing a Progenitus.
Yeah, I think that the matchup is so favorable for John's side that he doesn't really have to get, too creative with his sideboarding. He knows exactly what he's up against. He's got access to the 75 cards. What ways can I actually end up losing this matchup? Curse Totem, either Sword Cannons after sideboard. Those are the things that are, have a huge bullseye as far as things he needs to take care of, and he just needs to make sure that he, does that accordingly and doesn't lose to anything.
Yeah, I think that Progenitus, is at its best. For example, when I was playing Burn, I was definitely scared of Progenitus a lot because you can easily keep, with your removal and Grim Lavamancer's, you can easily keep the deck away from a big Crater Hoof Behemoth or a mirror entity with any sort of board. Those are easy things for you to contain. But all they need is 4 mana and 1 creature to go get Progenitus, and then a lot of decks just lose the game.
Yeah.
But I don't think Steven's deck has enough removal where that's really a concern that John has in the matchup.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see how it breaks down. If you guys are just joining us, Cedric Hills, Patrick Sullivan, Stars Games Open Series here in Oakland, California. We're in the semifinals, so we're making our way through this one pretty quickly. But if you got any tweets out there at SCG Live, hashtag SCGOAK, checking them for the rest of the weekend.
You can see Grand Prix Denver champion, Video Jaya, and our Standard Open champion from this weekend, Joe Lissette, in the background.
Yep.
On the rail, I assume rooting for John. They're all Los Angeles / Orange County area Magic players. A lot of solidarity in that scene.
Well, Stephen Bush, again, he's got his back up against the wall. Doesn't mean it's impossible, just means it's improbable. Even Mind Sensor, he's got a Plains, he's got a Revoker.
Another
times
Revoker.
2, times 3. And a second Plains. I think he's happy enough with it.
It's funny the way that, as you see John take a mulligan, that the way Legacy works when you're playing these bullet decks, Steven's hand would not beat a lot of draft decks.
Yeah.
But it's
true.
But it's quite competitive against Legacy.
Yeah.
He's playing there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the Death Taxes deck. It's definitely not objectively powerful in a format where you can be killing things on turn 2 and turn 3, but this deck is a lot about playing the right mixture of bullets and pressure.
Mm-hmm. And Revoker being a big deal in this deck.
Yeah.
So, John will take a mulligan. He's going to go down to at least 6 cards. And when we do find out what's going on in our other match here, as I know a lot of people are very interested in the Tezzeret Affinity deck. And part of the reason we started here, too, is because we had a feeling this one may be quick. We don't see Tezzeret Affinity action since Esper Stoneblade does take a little bit of time to get the job done. So we'll see exactly what's going on with that as well as soon as we find out. I want Affinity to be good.
Yeah, it has its charms.
It's just too powerful. As Esper Stoneblade is up game number 1. And John's going to take a second mulligan.
Yep. And even though Elves doesn't play any Storm cards, obviously, it's also very much a deck about density of spells, especially when it tries to kill through Glimpse. But Natural Order still gives you a way to win games even when you are down quite a few cards.
Quick tweet that was sent here, _Wolf Cub, wondering why there's a Progenitus in the sideboard here, and of course for Natural Order.
Yeah, there's a Natural Order target. There's a lot of matchups where they're trying to fight you through removal, where it's really hard to build up a big Crater Hoof Behemoth, but it's pretty reasonable for you to get to 4 mana with 1 creature in play. A lot of decks that play a lot of Lightning Bolts are really sought to Progenitus, because they're just, they play a bunch of cheap, efficient removal spells. So Progenitus is sort of a backup plan in matchups where you expect all your creatures are going to be taxed.
Yeah, matchups that have cards like Pyroclasm, Engineer Explosive is one, Engineer Plague is the other one. All you need to do is get a Progenitus in play, and most decks are just dead to that.
Grim Lavamancer is another card where you may want to go to Progenitus.
So down to 5 for John Harduvel. 3, 4, 5. All right, he's happy enough. Mother of Runes will start the show. See a couple lands here for John. He's got a Verdant Catacombs he's going to start with. See what he's going to search out here.
Probably wants to lead off with bases as much as possible.
Yeah.
There are wastelands, after all, lingering in Steven's deck. And John's not satisfied with just having foil basic lands. They have to be foil and miscut.
Yeah, which ups the value of them dramatically, which
Yeah.
is weird to me. But I also just I don't understand that part of the world. I mean, there's definitely appeal to that.
People like oddities, man.
Yeah, I know that like the land is very very expensive. I know that for a fact. I think the Quern Ranger is expensive too because it's a promo.
Yeah. Also from way back in the day.
Yeah, I want to say that's an arena, but I'm probably wrong.
Arena or early FNM or something
Yeah.
like that. I remember receiving one of those as a prize at some point when I was playing. So
Did you throw it away?
no, I sold it back to the store for $3 or something.
Nice.
I'm sure it's worth $25 now.
As here's a Phyrexian Revoker. That's going to come in. We'll see what that's going to name.
We will get confirmation on that momentarily. Deathrite Shaman, is that D Shaman?
I think it's just Quern. I think you just named Quern Ranger.
Queer, just Query Ranger.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just name that one. There's Windswept Heath.
And it looks actually like John has Glimpse.
Yeah.
So he may actually be able to go off.
One of the poorer cards in a mulligan, though, which is unfortunate for him. Just the fact that he can't really do a ton with it.
Yeah, he needs to build up enough of a board where when he does Glimpse, he has a lot of mana and resources to work with. But he also needs to leave enough creatures in his hand where he can realistically keep drawing off the Glimpse. So that's a pretty tough tightrope to walk.
John does have a natural order in his hand, however, so, if he did bring in Progenitus, that gives him a way to win the game. So we'll see exactly what kind of strategy he's employing, as Cursed Totem was actually drawn here for Steven. So the one of Cursed Totem has actually shown up. We'll see if he's going to deploy that or if he wants to go with the Revoker.
And he's going to go with,
Revoker number 2.
yep. And I would imagine this will just name the symbiote.
Yeah, and he wants to take a look at that, and we'll do the same thing. We'll bring Revexian Revoker up for you guys at home because it's a little bit different than Pithing Needle. They do basically the same thing, and this one can attack and Pithing Needle can't, but activated ability of sources with the chosen name can't be activated. That includes mana abilities.
Yeah.
Where Pithing Needle does not, this one does. But on this one, you only can name a non-land permanent, where Pithing Needle you can name a land.
Yes.
So those are the differences between the two. So he says, I'm going to pick that up in response, and now you can name a card. And he's going to name, we'll find out in just a moment, what it is. He's going to name Symbiote.
And the reason that he's picking this up, of course, is with Glimpse in hand, he wants as much gas as possible to go off with.
And the full Quern Rangers were F&M promos. You were correct, my friend. So, pass turn back. Well, he does attack first, of course. So, I'm going to sacrifice the Wooded Foothills, see what land he's going to go get. Looks like he might be going hunting for a bayou right now. Maybe a Savannah. He's going to go Dried Arbor, okay.
Yep. This increases the upside if he's able to find a Cradle as he's going off.
Gotcha.
Not exactly going off, because it's very unlikely that he actually kills Steven this turn from such a low base, but he might be able to semi-go off and then, and there's the Cradle.
Yeah.
He might be able to semi-go off and then win the following turn, for example. Although Cradle gives him more of a shot of actually being able to go this turn.
Yeah, and if he has Progenitus, that can play Cradle, add 2, Dried Arbor's 3, Forest is 4, and you can just go get Progenitus right now. There's no way for Death and Taxes to get that off the board. So
Yeah.
you see John is doing a bunch of math right now, and he's going to start by glimpsing, I'd like to believe. Maybe not. Maybe he just wants to get this into play.
Yeah, because it's essentially free because of the Cradle.
4, Order, Sacrifice Wirewood.
Yeah, and I assume this means he's going and getting Progenitus.
He's going through his deck really, really fast. Yep, and there's a
There it
Progenitus.
is.
We weren't sure if he brought it in. He certainly did. And you want to talk about a mulligan of 5. This is one.
Yep.
You see Stephen Bush licking his hand of Cursed Totem, 3rd Phyrexian Revoker.
A hand of
Mind Sensor.
A hand of nonsense.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately for him, had he opted to deploy the Mind Sensor as opposed to the Revoker, there's a small percentage chance that John would have hit, but
Yeah, but there's some risk that if he does that, then John is just able to go off with the Wirewood Symbiote with the Glimpse in his hand. So he's kind of got it covered from both angles.
just a really, really tough matchup for Stephen Bush to run into at this part of the tournament. And this is, part of the thing with Death and Taxes, you're taking a calculated risk here
Yeah.
by choosing to play this deck. I mean, again, it feels like with this deck, your matches are awesome, but the matches that you're bad against are almost hopeless.
Well, I mean that maybe there's some combo decks like that, or some matchups that are like that. I do think the deck has a lot of pretty close matchups because there's a lot of play to the deck.
Mhm.
So matches where both players are playing to the board, there's a lot of back and forth. I think the issue is that because of the types of cards that Death and Taxes play, when it loses, the deck looks pathetic because it
Yeah.
has a bunch of nonsense in play. That doesn't mean the deck is bad for the format. It just, you just have some sort of some amount of bias because it looks so bad in the games that it's losing.
Here's a glimpse to start the turn. Cradle's going to generate some mana here. It's going to drain a bunch more now, so draw a card. Cradle can tap for 4 mana at this point, and John hasn't played a land yet. So he's trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do on this turn, because he has access to 4 mana right now. Queer and Ranger is named with Fresh Invoker, so it's not going to be able to do anything.
John contemplating. I'm not sure what the last card in his hand is. Is it a green Zenith?
Yep.
So he might just be green Zenith anything for. What did he? Okay.
And now here's a Mind Sensor. And this is one of the better cards against elves since they have so many decent tutor effects. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Deathrite, Shaman, and Lana, where elves are the things he can choose from.
So he did Zenith for 1 and hit.
He gets to shuffle that back in. So it looks like it's just going to be Progenesis' job to get this one over with.
Mm-hmm.
In for 10. And Stephen Bush is going to have to find something to get this done. As he's going to untap, he'll take a draw step. He finds a Caracas, which is insulting.
Since Caracas is anything, Progenis has protection from it because it has
Yeah.
protection from everything.
Yeah.
And there's a concession.
So John Harduvel is moving on to the finals. Combo Elves. We'll see what it's going to play against. Stephen Bush, he's coming back to Magic, and in a big way. Unfortunately for him, I think he realizes that he just has an unfavorable matchup.
Yeah,
There's
that-
really
that-
nothing he can do.
Not much to be said there. I mean,